percentage of
Yes,
what
sir.
they say.
And they would invoice us, because I asked on how, for auditing purposes, how I show, say we recovered $100 and she gets $50 of it. They would invoice us. It'd be other professional services or consulting. I mean, we could go into that. But Mr. Terry, who is a representative of this company that this lady owns, is more than happy to come and speak and for all these questions. And he does, I mean, she does big schools, banks. She hasn't done a county, because I did ask her, have you done any other counties? She's working on one, I believe. I think he told me Bentonville. They're looking at possibly, maybe it was Washington, Cairns. But he's willing to come talk to us and see, because I truly feel our phone bills have been messed up for quite some time. But
So we actually have to receive the money in hand before we're invoiced.
oh yes, we get the money and then we just pay her.
Okay.
Correct.
It's a 1/2 contingent fee
Yeah, but after
based
that,
on what we get back.
we're
Taylor, I've thought about this a lot because I even trying to get my son, how to try to get your kids to do anything. But when he worked for us at Tanner's, we were paying 22 cents a minute or something like that for 800 lines and everything. When he got on the phone company, it stayed the same phone company, got it down to 6 cents a minute. Then we had cell phones for all our truck drivers and our salesmen, and we were paying an enormous amount. He got down to $10, and a way better plan, unlimited texting. And all he did was just basically, what they probably do is negotiate with the phone company.
It's just
And try to go to somebody else. And they go down pretty cheap. But, we don't have nobody actually working on that, so I think it's a good idea. If we could save a lot of money.
Personally, I don't understand the 800 number anyway.
Yeah. In today's,
I think
All
you're,
my code most is complaints. Somebody wants to chew me out, I think y'all have a pleasure thing.
Amen.
I think about that. I think I'll bring in some ordinances next time to see about following up on this. We can certainly suspect save quite a bit of money on our phones if we get somebody who knows what they're doing working on it, and we may want to look at trying to collect some uncollectible debts. And just again, that's money we don't pay until we receive it. If they collect an old debt, we receive it, then they invoice us for whatever the fee works out to on that. And they say basically it's $25.
I wanted to ask, this is under the JP comment. And a month before last, I was absent. We had an ordinance where we were going to see about passing an ordinance where on comp time they could have the choice of being paid for it or taking it. Did that happen in that meeting or?
No.
I don't think we've seen an ordinance like that.
Okay, well, I know that there was some discussion that was supposed to come up at that meeting and I was absent and I never did. And my only thing was, I think it's coming to that. I'm not fixing to start on comp. But I think when it comes to that, it needs to be for all departments. In every department, that they have the choice of comp time or overtime. So that was my only comment.
Are we talking about cell phones and land phones?
she will do land and cell, and she'll do the last 6 months for free.
How about radios?
I'm sure she can look into that. I can ask about that. I didn't know about those, Don. The cell phones, and we do have a few different carriers because across the bridge, Windstream don't go that way. I have AT&T. She'll look at those bills. She'll look at our Windstream. She'll look at all the cell phones. Yes.
Just for information, I'm on the board of Ozark Regional Transit for the judge. They proposed in Washington County a 0.5% sales tax to increase the service. They were pretty confident it was going to pass, but it lost pretty big. So that's no real effect on us, but it may in the future because of the way they divvy up their money.
Dan?
Thank you, Judge. Just 2 points. First is our road trips. We didn't get one done this month. just because of some things that occurred in the coordination process between some of us. But let's try again before our next July, before our July Quorum meeting, do another road trip. And as we were talking about, we'll do District 2 this time. We can put our heads together after the meeting, or right now, or via phone or email, and pick a date and a time. But let's try and do another one in July. And it is generating, I think, a really good bit of knowledge on the parts of our JPs, if nothing else, just to get the band together and go see different parts of the county, plus we're getting a better understanding of just what kind of condition our roads are in the county, which is important. So we'll be in touch on that, and maybe we can decide before we leave the meeting today what day and time we'll do that. Second one is the budget committee. And please, Jack's not here, but John, if you have anything, please chime in. But I presume that we will start again in mid to late August, as we did last year, with Cindy's and everybody's help, budget guidance and what have you, still forthcoming. And follow the same process that we did last year. James Myatt, the president of the Bearville branch of Cornerstone Bank, has graciously offered the training room again for us to do our deliberations in, and I have already accepted on behalf of the committee. And we'll keep the media informed as to when those meetings will start and how often they'll take place. That's all I got.
You want to, John?
I got a question about some questions that have been raised out in my area, fire department wise, about dispatch with Mercy wanting to go into some sort of agreement with the county. Can the sheriff or the judge enlighten me and a little bit about what's that all about?
Yeah, there is a lot of confusion on that. The Mercy has approached us that they want to be dispatching their ambulances. So we're going to have a meeting with them, and before we implement the program, we're going to bring in all of the fire chiefs to sit down, and we're going to have an open discussion on it. But right now, there's similar for Eureka Springs. Eureka Springs does not want us to dispatch for police officers. We get the 911 call, and then it's a touch screen, and it's transferred to Eureka so they do their own dispatching. For St. John's, they want to be dispatching their own ambulances. So that's what it's going to be.
The question that was presented to me, the way that I understood it, some of the county has, the residents has a contract with Life area back. And their understanding was that Mercy wasn't going to honor that, and Mercy would be the one that received that call when it came out.
You know, John, it's unfortunate. I've been hearing a lot of discussions about that. Looking at dispatch, St. John's has referred a lot of calls to Arapac. But the complaints are St. John's wants to take over all the business. And that is not true. That's not true. So that's why we're going to have these meetings so that the people can understand how it's going to work.
Will that be brought back to the Quorum Court before a decision on any changes are made?
We will inform you how it's going to work. We'll inform you how it's going to work. But basically, the biggest advantage to the county is that right now when we have a call for an ambulance or St. John's for the eastern part of the county, because it won't affect the western part of the county, it's only the eastern, which is mostly St. John's. That right now, if they have, say we get a call from the hospital, they want to transfer. And all of the St. John's ambulances are out of the county, and they in turn will contact a neighboring service to provide the ambulance service. At least under St. John's, they will know that they will inform the hospital that just for a transfer, because most of the ambulance services, most of the revenue they get, a lot of the revenue just comes from doing the transfer, not a 911 call. So this way it would be easier for them. They can tell the hospital, because it's their own ambulance, we are not going to do the transfer until we get finished with our 911 calls. Because none of those are medical emergencies. But when the hospital calls for an ambulance to provide a transfer for just taking somebody to the hospital for a doctor's visit or for a routine visit, That takes up a lot of the services, of the animal services. I would say probably close to 50% of the calls are for transfers and not for 911. So it's going to be providing a better service.
I would agree to that. My concern here is Mercy doesn't offer a program where you can buy insurance to ride their helicopter. If your insurance doesn't pay, you are liable to pay that bill. Back does. You're a member of them. If your insurance doesn't pay, your insurance with them, you owe them that.
But really what it boils down to is the emergency itself. If there's a call and there's a need for a helicopter, it's the closest available helicopter. It doesn't make any difference who they have a membership with. When you have to provide the medical, the helicopter is going to be the closest available helicopter. That's the rule.
I know that rule, but some of the guys that are on our first responders, they're not comparing apples to apples, as they tell me. They get the estimated time of arrival. What I have been told now is that Mercy will give their estimated time of arrival. That is after takeoff, not necessarily after they roll it out of the building and get it fired up and ready to go. Where Back lists all that time in the initial ETA. So it always looks like it's longer.
When we had the call out the other day on the missing person, I probably talked to just about all your people that were there. And there's a lot of misinformation that they are receiving, and that's why I informed them. Get together, get all your questions that you want answered, because you're being misinformed and investigating, and I invite you to attend that meeting too, that they will discuss all of the issues and what we're trying to do. And the key thing is that we're trying to provide the best service to the people that come. The biggest advantage that Mercy has is that they have trained people in emergency medical dispatch. We have a turnover where it's very difficult to get our people up and running and to speed and maintain that knowledge about any emergency services. It's best, they have the best equipped people for doing that, trained people to do it. So it's for a purpose of providing the best service to the people of the county. But unfortunately what happens, and the big issue we have, if you look at some of the bills that these people get for helicopter service, there's a lot of money involved in providing the service. Just like we have issues with the towing services, saying that they're not getting their tows. Bond's been saying that we're referring business to, our position is not to provide, make sure everybody stays in business. It's to provide the best service to the people of the county. So that's why before we get it implemented, everybody will be informed as to what we're trying to accomplish. And it's going to be open to, and I really invite you to be there to answer your questions, because after talking to your people at the incident the other day, there's a lot of misinformation out there. A lot of misinformation.
And where a lot of that came from was a meeting with Back a few days before, I'm sure. The right questions probably were not asked.
No, they were not. Because Back has tried to do the same thing. Back has come to my office and asked me if I put a direct line into dispatch. So all those calls go directly to them, and they will decide whether it's going to be St. John's or Eric. So they're going to do the same thing.
Well, I don't have anything to add. You covered it.
Anything else? Well, this is my turn. Judge Cody, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, thank you, sir.
Possibly.
Would it be possible we could ask you to answer this lady's question she had a while ago?
I can
Mr.
try.
Marshall, would you, this is Judge Crowe, would you care to ask?
I was trying to verify the law stipulated that Ruby Springs was the only city in the county that can open for some of these things.
I think I should refer that to your attorney.
I'm glad to show for answer that.
I have not reviewed the statutes with regard to the local options. That's a state statute, I believe, under which the local option applies, and I think the cities or the townships make their determination. Mr. Foster, is that your understanding?
Well, I blame it on my chauffeur, he's the one who told me that.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, I thought it might have been something that had come up before that you might know the answer on.
I haven't had that issue come up before. So I think that if somebody is wanting to do so many sales in another jurisdiction or another township, then that's an issue for the people of the township to take up.
I'd like to thank y'all for coming today, and also, Sheriff, I would like to be invited to those 911 meetings, and also reading the logbook. I believe I have seen that also. I'd like to be invited to those meetings.
That's why several months ago you were informed that that's what we were attempting to do.
But I never was invited to one of the meetings.
Given the meeting,
I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah.